All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Stuart Davis, and it's dark in here. I'm a flawed man of God. I am here to talk about the Bible. I am a deacon at a small church outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. Just trying to discuss, like what I said, the Bible. Welcome. It's episode 100, and I am absolutely showing up terribly tonight. It is embarrassing, guys. It is embarrassing. Episode 100 of the Bible walkthrough, and the light. I can't find the remote to the lights. Still can't find the remote to the lights. And I'm in rough shape, folks. This is what happens. Look, I had to scarf down food. All right. Got home about 7:30ish. Went home, did the what am I? All right, wait. Are we done? Are we done? Are we very done here? Okay. All right. Got a little bit brighter in here. Sorry, folks. All right. So, episode 100 is off and running to a great start, folks. And I just want to thank you, each and every one of you, for being here to witness my failures. As I said, flawed man with a very flawed stream and very boomerish approach to putting these things together. But look, you get what you pay for. All right. That's the thing. You can always have your money back. You can't have your time. Not giving you your time. Look at guys. I had today. I was out watching a truck get worked on, and I was next to a building, and for some reason, the building owners had a cactus, one of those small, like padded cactuses, plants, very large, sitting outside of their store, and I got too close to it when I was walking by it, and it got me. And so I had a lot of these little, like, really fine, really small um, needles in my hand, and I can still feel some of them in there. I got a lot of them out. But man, that's annoying. Whew. So hopefully everybody had a very good and fulfilling weekend. Mine was, like I said, soaking up the great thing that is my new mini split, right? And it did not fail. Got up into the high 80s, maybe 90 degrees today. Wouldn't know it sitting in my sitting in my man cave. You know why? Because if it had, ooh wee, I'd be sweating because that's what I've been doing, and I don't have to worry about that now. So I am happy. All right, Nico, welcome, and Blaine also welcome. Blaine, you normally don't step in this soon. You're normally coming in later. Oof. R.I.P. Yeah. R.I.P. in peace. Type F, press F to pay respects to my hand, and my fingers. Ah, it's awesome. Awesome feeling, guys. You know what else is awesome? Coming home and ribs are on the table waiting for you, and they're delicious ribs. Delicious ribs from Publix. Publix is a national treasure. We're going to talk about First Samuel a little bit today, but let's talk about something else real quick. Let's see if I can pull this up. If anybody here caught today's stream, we saw the return of Nick Rekieta on his show. And let me see. He apparently got a haircut while he was gone. Let's see if the stream. Did he pull it off? Ah, there it is. 5 hours ago. All right. Oh, and he did a 16-minute thing. That was throwing me off. Let's see what I can do here. I want to show you all something I noticed. Share screen. So y'all know. Damn it, you beat me to it. Nico, you beat me to it. All right. All right. He did. He does. He does. He does look like that. Look, we're gonna share. I'm gonna share a screen real quick so we can all see what I'm looking at. Then I'm gonna make it worse. Look at that. And this is the great thing. I don't have to super chat to make fun of him. I'm probably gonna clip this and show it later. Because especially if you let's see. I love that. Of course I'm gonna share it. Stop. All right. Let's see how this pops out. Share screen. If you cut out just this part. I mean, if you see that coming at you. Got to be careful these days. You never know. Oh, man. Oh, got to start this episode off great. Nick, you look terrible. Glad you're back. Because now I have something to listen to. And he shouldn't have been off there in the first place. So stupid. Look, very much a thing. If somebody is violating terms or whatever and legitimately doing some like spamming, sharing something inappropriate that's not for public consumption, that's when you should report people. You shouldn't do it. Dresden, you missed it. Hold on. Oh, I got rid of it. Dresden, you're just gonna have to rewind and see what we saw. Dresden, are you just getting back from the Queen's funeral? Did you go and watching Back to the Future 2? Oh, that's another series of movies to do with the kids. It's another series of movies to do with the kids. Anyway. All right. So things are good here. And with it being 100 episodes, let me first go ahead and thank myself for doing these 100 episodes of the Bible walkthrough. Without me, I never would have gotten on to online and continue to do this. Without me, there would be no me on this channel. Without my dedication and my stick-to-itiveness, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be gathering here. We would all be somewhere else. Happier, maybe. But that's not what we do. So, no, seriously, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm so glad that you guys came over, that you found me either through mindless scrolling or most likely came over when Nick was on the channel. And you guys have made this better by a wide margin. Like I said, I've said this before. I was definitely considering paring back the channel to a once or twice a week episode, hour-long episodes. And it was all going to come down to kind of what the reception was going to be after Nick came on, because I knew I would be bringing in some he would be bringing in traffic. And if people liked it and they would stick around, then I would do it. But, most of y'all came over with that. And and that was great. He did me a solid favor, and by just by exposure, and I would really like for him to come on and do that again so I can get more viewers. But but I'm glad for what I've got. And maybe he'll throw some shade my way and I can get some get some attention out of it because I made fun of him publicly in front of God and everyone here on the YouTubes. And now he has the ability to respond on YouTube. So, um, boom, boom, boom. What was I going to say? All right. Well, with that now, so I've thanked myself. I've thanked the chat. Thank my wife for um, supporting this stream and doing it and you know doing things like bringing me the hat, taking care of the kids, and making sure they're put down to bed when maybe when I'm streaming, and putting up with the BS and the nonsense that comes with all this. She's been a great supporter of this. Sometimes with ideas, and sometimes just by being, like I said, in the support role. And then finally, big shout out to the man upstairs, without whom we wouldn't have a stream, we wouldn't have anything, and we wouldn't exist, right? But the focus of all this is to drive ourselves closer to him through reading his word, being discussing it together, driving each other towards it, and hopefully helping, giving each other a hand up, pulling each other up towards heaven. One sarcastic and demeaning comment at a time, right? To each other, because you're all losers, and so am I. All right, so tonight we're going to get into Samuel. And what a great Samuel begins, and what I called in the channel description to be the king's story arc of scripture. We're getting into Israel and Samuel the prophet, Samuel the representative of God, and what he has basically thrust upon him is difficulty. But we shouldn't get past how important it is to do the things that God intends for us to do. We were talking in Sunday school about this, things that we think are important. And I think I brought this up not last week, but the week before. The things that we do that we think are important aren't really all that important in the grand scheme of things. And things that we think are important, that God thinks are important, and he tasks us with, often doesn't mean that you're going to have a good time while doing it. To say that you shouldn't do it joyfully, though it might be difficult. But when we look at people who are tasked with things, Moses, for example, Moses got some really cool fringe benefits by leading the Israelites, but he also had to lead the Israelites for 40 years. And that, to me, sounds almost like a prison sentence. So I like that, Blaine. That's such a great line. All right, we'll get up though. Let's check up with the chat. Nico calling me out for being late, which I was, because I couldn't get these stupid lights on. Because I don't know where my daggone remote is. I've got like 3 of them. Whatever. Blaine's got an earbud in, sorting out clothes. I do that. Oh man, I do that during a lot of while listening to streams. Talk about Nick's haircut. It's hilarious and also late. Dresden coming in late to watching Back to the Future. Nico, all hail the great Stuart, LOL, because that is funny, calling me great. Can I get an amen? My chat overlaps with Nick's too. It's symbiotic. Mine's more parasitic because I don't think I've contributed to any of his viewers. And then an amen from Nico, and then Blaine. Here's the great line. When Jesus said, "Whatever you do to the least of these," he was thinking of you. Thanks, Blaine. It's such a good one. I will keep that one with me forever. All right. Let's get into the crux of it, because while 1 Samuel chapter 1 isn't long, 1 Samuel chapter 2 is. So let's pull that up. Boom, boom. All right. As I've said before, and I'll probably let me go through my whole spiel. If you like this, if you like the stream, click like, click subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you get so you might get a notification that I'm streaming, and or have content incoming. And share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, share it with everybody. Put it on your social media. Do whatever you got to do. If you think that it can reach people, if it's worth sharing, by all means, please do so. We treat this very much like a small group in church, but that you would find on Wednesday nights or whatever. But we could always use more viewers, always use more outreach. And the beauty behind that is right now is if you chat something, it's definitely going to get read. I use Bible Gateway. We are reading from the New International Version, and that's what we do. Bible Gateway is a great app. It's a great website. I've noticed that the app is throwing a lot of. Let me see if I can pull this up again. Log in the Bible Gateway. I get an ad now. Yeah, here he is. What the heck? No, I don't want this. It's got ads on it now. Can't help it. Stuart need to up his grift game so we can have more lady viewers. Look, what do I look like? Hashtag not sponsored. I'm not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored. And but this stream is brought to you by Blaine's Escape Corner and his stream. So go follow his go follow and watch his streams if you like anime. If you don't like anime, maybe don't watch his stream, because it's probably not going to be very fun for you. They'll have fun. His stream is going to have fun, but you might be nonplussed by the content. And that would be good. That would be something pleasing to the Lord, because we all know that anime is degenerate. All right. Samuel. Let's cut through the crap, because I know Blaine is typing something out right now. The birth of Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 1. There was a certain man from Ramathaim, a Zophite, from the hill country of Ephraim, again, whose name was Elkanah, son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephraimite. He had 2 wives. One was called Hannah, the other Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had none. Year after year, this man went up from his town to worship and sacrifice to the Lord Almighty at Shiloh, where Hophni and Phinehas, the 2 sons of Eli, were priests of the Lord. Whenever the day came for Elkanah to sacrifice, he would give portions of the meat to his wife Peninnah and to all her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he gave a double portion, because he loved her, and the Lord had closed her womb. Look, he's like, it ain't my fault. It's definitely her fault. Because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. Some of you might be enamored with the harem anime type of marriage outlook that the Mormons have. Look in the Bible. Also, look how women interact with each other oftentimes when they're in anything close to a competitive environment. We already know this from Joseph. All right, we already know this from Isaac. Don't do it. One woman. One woman. Whenever Hannah went up to the house of the Lord, her rival provoked her till she wept and would not eat. Her husband Elkanah would say to her, Hannah, why are you weeping? Why don't you eat? Why are you downhearted? Don't I mean more to you than 10 sons? Which is probably not the right thing to say. Isn't me enough? Aren't I just as great as having 10 kids? Um, I'm sure that did not make it better. Once so once when they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh, Hannah stood up. Now Eli the priest was sitting on his chair by the doorpost of the Lord's house. In her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly, and she made a vow, saying, Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head. We've heard that word somewhere before recently, though this was instructions to the parent, not from a vow from the parent. Another Nazarite. As she kept on praying to the Lord, Eli observed her mouth. Hannah was praying in her heart, and her lips were moving, but her voice was not heard. Eli thought she was drunk and said to her, How long are you going to stay drunk? Put away your wine. It's not just a new thing. Women enjoy drinking wine. This is not a new development. As she kept on praying to the Lord, oh wait, I already said that. Not so, my lord, Hannah replied. I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking wine or beer. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. I have been praying out here out of great anguish and grief. Eli answered, Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him. She said, May your servant find favor. May your servant find favor in your eyes. Then she went her way and ate something, and her face was no longer downcast. Man, look, nothing against Hannah here. She's just checking up all the boxes of the stereotypical lady, right? Or lady situation. She's got a woman that she's in competition with who's poking at her. She's upset about it. She's downtrodden, but she comes earnestly and honestly to the Lord and pours her heart out, which women will do maybe better than men, I think, sometimes. And she's humble, and then she ate something and she felt better because that's what happens when women eat. They like to eat. Best thing to do for a lady when she's down, invite her out to go get something to eat. She loves it. Early the next morning, they arose and worshipped before the Lord, and then went back to their home at Ramah. Elkanah made love to his wife Hannah, and the Lord remembered her. Lord's going there one. So in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, Because I asked the Lord for him. So good. Lane's Escape Corner. Also Minecraft. Our server is getting Nihon. Give me your weebs, your otaku, your huddled cosplaying masses yearning to chat free, the wretched degenerate masses of your teeming shore, and nuke them from orbit, because it's the only way to make sure. I made it rhyme. And wholesome. I find it weird the Bible says the Lord would close wombs and then be able to bear child again. Does this mean anything other than she could get kids before and then she did? Difficult to say in this case. We don't know. She could have just been barren and or just bad luck, right? Probably mostly barren. And she prayed, and because she prayed, God granted her a child, okay, and allowed her to conceive. This might be very interesting. This kind of question, Nico, changes depending on whether you are reformed or not, if you believe in predestination or not. It's a good thing. Maybe she was drinking too much, though she said she wasn't. Um, but yeah, we don't know I mean, the assumption is there that she was just barren, and because of her prayer, and because she showed humility and proper respect, and was not afraid to ask God, and she was in great grief and need, and then God decided, there you go. Footnotes here, Masoretic text, the Dead Sea Scrolls, always I have dedicated him as a Nazarite all the days of his life. That is what Hannah was saying for Samuel in verse 22. So yeah, Nazarite. Maybe I'm just trying to put it in a scientific context, how that will work. Well, when you're dealing with miracles, because miracles didn't just start with Jesus, right? What we'd understand as a miracle is divine intervention in a very overt way. God's plagues are very similar, right? It's direct intervention from God. Now, it's a little on the punitive side, but it's still intervention. Like God, I would think, is more active in the Old Testament than he is, maybe not, or active with miracles in the Old Testament. They're very, Christ being in human form. Once he starts creating miracles left and right, things are going pretty fast. But God's doing a lot of the stuff in the Old Testament too. So this isn't new. And the man and a being who can create the universe out of nothing can certainly put uh, healthy eggs and and inside of a woman like that without even lifting a finger, right? It's kind of like things can appear and disappear, especially when you're talking about the body. We didn't know, hear scientific experts going, we don't know where the cancer went. It just left. It just went away. Or, we thought the body was doing this, but it isn't. Nika said, I don't know about the reform and predestination, but is the mom Hannah putting her son into a predestination before he was born by making the promise? Again, you have to go back to what your outlook is. I'm not predestination. I don't take the Calvinist view on things. But I think that Hannah, by saying she has made a promise, does Samuel fulfill that promise? She is putting that on him, that is going to be his burden or his blessing, depending on how, or both, depending on how you're looking at it. But she is putting that responsibility on Samuel by making that promise, and on herself as well, because she has to raise him like that, right? And give him and help him understand and go towards that path. Now, you could argue the Calvinists will argue that this was already something that God had planned and put into motion and directly controlled, whereas somebody like me is more of a free will advocate. Say, no, she did this on her own, but because she did, God gave her what she asked for, knowing what Samuel would become as a result, and blessing him, as we'll see. Hannah dedicates Samuel. And then the bottom line, does it matter either way? No, but this is just I'm assuming that you're doing this the same way I do. It's just out of curiosity, because it helps put things into perspective a little bit better. That's a good question, Nico. I like it. Hannah dedicates Samuel. When her husband Elkanah went up with all his family to offer the annual sacrifice to the Lord and to fulfill his vow, Hannah did not go. She said to her husband, After the boy is weaned, I will take him and present him before the Lord, and he will live there always. Do what seems best to you, her husband Elkanah told her. Stay here until you have weaned him. Only may the Lord make good his word. So the woman stayed home and nursed her son until she had weaned him. After he was weaned, she took the boy with her, young as he was, along with the 3-year-old bull, an ephah of flour, and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh. When the bull had been sacrificed, they brought the boy to Eli, and she said to him, Pardon me, my lord, as surely as you live, I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord, and he worshiped the Lord there. You know, follow through. Follow through is such a difficult thing. Such a difficult thing for us as Christians, as believers, as people walking, trying to pray and do things to God. Following through the things that we are doing that are good, right? A lot of times, I need to make it to church today. I got commitments. Blah blah blah. We do it all the time. Do it all the time. Follow through is a beautiful thing to see because it sets us up and it gives us momentum in our faith. Because when you do have follow through, you feel better about it. You feel like because you get that sense of accomplishment and the accomplishment of following through with your word and with your actions. So good for Hannah. And we're going to listen to her prayer. And I'm not singing this because this is a prayer, and I'm not going to pray it like a prayer, like a weird prayer. I'm just going to read it. Chapter 2. Then Hannah prayed and said, My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high. My mouth boasts over my enemies, for I delight in your deliverance. Who is our enemy? I wonder if she's talking about her sister wife. She's delighting in God giving her that thing. There is no one holy like the Lord. There is no one beside you. There is no rock like our God. Do not keep talking so proudly, or let your mouth speak such arrogance, for the Lord is a God who knows, and by him deeds are weighed. The bows of the warriors are broken, but those who stumble are armed with strength, and those who are full hire themselves out for food. But those who are hungry no more. She who is barren has borne 7 children. But she who has had many sons pines away. The Lord brings death and makes alive. He brings down to the grave and then raises up. The Lord sends poverty and wealth. He humbles and exalts. He raises the poor from the dusts and lifts the needy from the ash heap. He seats them with princes, and he has them inherit a throne of honor. For the foundations of the earth are the Lord's. On him he has set the world. He will guard the feet of his faithful servants, but the wicked will be silenced in the place of darkness. It is not by strength that one prevails. Those who oppose the Lord will be broken. The Most High will thunder from heaven. The Lord will judge the ends of the earth. He will give strength to his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. Then Elkanah went home to Ramah, but the boy ministered before the Lord under Eli the priests. Nice. Based Hannah didn't ask the Lord for child support after he weaned. No, she asked him to take over the child. I'm giving you this child as a Nazarite, right? And he's going under, and she goes up there, and you got to think that is a difficult thing to do. You've been wanting this all your life, especially since you've been married. Your sister wife has been teasing you about this, and not to mention just fertility and fruitfulness in Israel, in the culture of the Israelites and Hebrews, is one of, that's kind of how you place a lot of value, right? A man who has many sons, a woman who bears her husband many sons or many children. That looks better. But if you're barren, it is a mark of shame, because God commands us to be fruitful and multiply. And, we have that biological drive that he put in us to do that. And when you can't produce for the one you love, whether you're a man or a woman, it's mostly blamed on the woman in these cases. Let's not get past the misogyny on this. There's a feeling of great failure, and especially back then. It's not as bad today, and it still exists today. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks. And so, and not only that, but once you get that kid, you're giving him up to be raised by the priests as soon as he's weaned. Whoo! I'm not singing. And it's over with, Nico. So there you go. Eli's wicked sons. Yeah, let's talk about Eli's wicked sons. This is a problem throughout Israel at the time. Eli's sons were scoundrels. They had no regard for the Lord. Now, it was a practice of the priest that whenever any of the people offered a sacrifice, the priest's servant would come with a 3-pronged fork in his hand while the meat was being boiled. Oh, that sounds so good. And they would plunge the fork into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot. Whatever the fork brought up, the priest would take for himself. This is how they treated all the Israelites who came to Shiloh. But even before the fat was burned, the priest's servants would come and say to the person who was sacrificing, "Give the priest some meat to roast. He won't accept boiled meat from you, but only raw." If the person said to him, "Let the fat be burned first, and then take whatever you want," the servant would answer, "No, hand it over now. If you don't, I'll take it by force." The sin of the young men was very great in the Lord's sight, for they were treating the Lord's offering with contempt. Amen? Not a good idea. Someone ought to tell them about Aaron's wicked sons. Aaron's doesn't end well for them. Doesn't not going to end well for you guys either, probably, because this is the Old Testament. God's got a hair trigger. But Samuel was ministering before the Lord, a boy wearing a linen ephod. Each year his mother made him a little robe and took it to him when she went up with her husband to offer the annual sacrifice. Eli would bless Elkanah and his wife, saying, "May the Lord give you children by this woman to take the place of the one she prayed for and gave to the Lord." Then they would go home. And the Lord was gracious to Hannah. She gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters. Amen. Meanwhile, the boy Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. Now Eli, who was very old, heard about everything his sons were doing to all Israel and how they slept with the women who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting. You whores! And one of these guys, his name is Phineas. What happened when... What a terrible blow to the name of Phineas, because Phineas was the guy who, during the Exodus, he wouldn't have been putting up with that. This Phineas is doing it. So he said to them, "Why do you do such things? Why are you the way that you are? I hear from all the people about these wicked deeds of yours. No, my sons, the report I hear spreading among the Lord's people is not good. If one person sins against another, God may mediate for the offender. But if anyone sins against the Lord, who will intercede for them?" They don't know this yet, but Christ. His sons, however, did not listen to their father's rebuke, for it was the Lord's will to put them to death. And the boy Samuel continued to grow in stature and in favor with the Lord and with the people. And so passages like this, Nico, is what Calvinists will often point to. There are points in here where God seems like he compels people to do bad things. I don't know if that context is correct, but again, it doesn't matter in the end whether it's predestination or not. We're still living it. And Samuel is, in either way, Samuel's still thriving. Prophecy against the house of Eli. Now, a man of God came to Eli and said to him, it wasn't me, a flawed man of God, not a man of God. And a man of God came to Eli and said to him, this is what the Lord says. Did I not clearly reveal myself to your ancestors' family when they were in Egypt under Pharaoh? I chose your ancestors out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priests, to go up to my altar, to burn incense, and to wear an ephod in my presence. I also gave your ancestors' family all the food offerings presented by the Israelites. Why do you scorn my sacrifice and offering that I prescribed for my dwelling? Why do you honor your sons more than me by fattening yourselves on the choice parts of every offering made by my people, Israel? Therefore, the Lord, the God of Israel, declares, I promised that the members of your family would minister before me forever. But now the Lord declares, far be it from me. Those who honor me, I will honor, but those who despise me will be disdained. The time is coming when I will cut short your strength and the strength of your priestly house, so that no one in it will reach old age, and you will see distress in my dwelling. Although good will be done to Israel, no one in your family line will ever reach old age. Every one of you that I do not cut off from serving at my altar, I will spare only to destroy your sight and sap your strength, that all your descendants will die in the prime of life. Damn. And what happens to your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, will be assigned to you. They will both die on the same day. I will raise up for myself a faithful priest who will do according to what is in my heart and mind. I will firmly establish his priestly house, and they will minister before my anointed one always. Then everyone left in your family line will come and bow down before him for a piece of silver and a loaf of bread and plead, appoint me to some priestly office so I can have food to eat. Woo! That's a mouthful. Look, this chapter goes from hot to cold real quick. We have hot with Hannah praising and praying to the Lord with thankfulness and reverence and fealty. And then at the end, we have God rebuking the house of Eli, going, you guys are just going to die in your prime. So if you peak in high school, you're probably not going to get past high school. But this is what's been happening. This is and these two are not the first ones, right? We've seen it. And then and again, Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. But these guys are taking advantage of it, and God's sick of it because he sees those two and then he sees Samuel. I will raise up for myself a faithful priest. Who do you think he's talking about? Maybe we'll find out next week or on tomorrow or whenever we do the next reading. I am trying to line up a guest this week. It was supposed to be the other Paul, but apparently he's taking a break until October. I haven't figured out why. He put it on his YouTube. I just haven't seen it yet. And he's just taking a break from his channel. Maybe he'll come onto mine. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. So happy Monday, everybody. Happy 100th episode to me, to you, to all of us. I know most of y'all haven't been here for all of it, but you've been here for the last half. It's been awesome. Like I said, praise to me, praise to y'all, praise number one to the Almighty up above. But we got a good thing going here, you guys. Almost 400 subs as well. Well, I was at 430 and I drifted down. And so I've been hovering around 400. Like to get that up. And really honest with you, the subs don't mean a whole lot because I don't get 400 views. I don't even get 100 views on any of my episodes. I hover somewhere anywhere between 15 and 25 generally views on my channel. whatever. It's whatever. I'd love to have it. Like I said, I'd love to have it more. If you guys know anybody who would be interested, that's great. But that word of mouth only goes among the people that you talk to who are willing to tune into YouTube. And I think all of us know finding fellow people in the real world who watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's not a lot, right? When you think about it, and a lot of those people they watch their own things. They got their own things that they're interested in. But maybe somebody finds something. Maybe somebody listens to you. Maybe somebody sees it on Facebook or whatever. Who knows? Look, I got a lot of people I know, and only a handful of them watch this sometimes. So I've been told it's too long. I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap. We have small group every night of the or we have small group Monday through Friday most days. So that's good. Thanks for being here, Dresden. Thanks for being here, Nico and Blaine. I think that's all we had making any noise in the chat. And it's been awesome, guys. And look, as much as I talk about my stick-to-itiveness, you guys are great at that too, especially you, Nico. You're here almost every night. So it's a rare night that Nico's not in the chat. And that's a good thing, I think. All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening and be good. And we'll talk tomorrow night. Either continue Samuel or do something else. We'll see what we're doing. In the meantime, have a good evening, good night, and God bless.